Hi, welcome. We're in my PC right now. So, without further ado, let's just start the material. Yeah, we're talking about language testing and assessment. But, first thing first, what the testing is actually. Testing is a particular kind of assessment which focuses on eliciting a specific sample of performance. So, it's a kind of assessment which it's designed to construct a specific task that will given to the student, and we will see the performance of the student itself from the test. And then we questioning. We know that test is scary to certain students, but why is it? Why? What the reason? And here are several reasons why tests have a way of scaring students. The first one is moment of truth. Moment of truth is where students will be tested by their understanding. They will give their answer, and they will wait for the truth that will come. Are they gonna pass or fail? And then anxiety. And some student gets anxiety when they have a test. They gotta get anxious to answer the test when they have to do it under pressure. And then self-doubt. Self-doubt is when students doesn't even really believe to themselves from answering the test. And then fervent hope is when they're expecting too much from what they have just got from the test, and they will wait for the moment of truth, and they will get proven hope. And then fear of failure. They fear if they're gonna fail from the test. So that's all of these are the reason why tests are scare students. And then actually students doesn't have to be degrading and threatening by the test. The goals of the test itself are for teacher to encourage students to be confident and to get learning experience for students, and to realize the development of students in the classroom, and then to see the best performance of students. And can we get learning without teaching and testing? Probably yes. Probably yes, because learning can occur in spite of teaching and or testing despite any kind of formal evaluation. The outcomes at teaching can be assessed without any form of testing. Testing might be used to measure what people already know. So students actually can get learn without teaching and testing. They can taught themselves, and they can taught by the informal education. Yes. What's the similar kind of testing? Evaluation and measurement. Are they the same one? Let's see. Evaluation might focus on the effectiveness or impact of program of instruction and examination of or project. So, for example, in one program or in a project, they will evaluate at the end of the program. The staff that do the program, they will evaluate what they have to improve, or is it already good enough, or what's the bad. So the expert will evaluate. And then measurement. Measurement is the process of determining the amount of or lack of something when compared with a fixed unit. So measurement is the process of determining of testing. Teacher will determine how far the students already understand about testing, so the teacher will measurement. Is assessment synonymous with testing? No, it is not. But why? Assessment is a more encompassing term than testing, so testing is more specific than assessment. The process of gathering, interpreting, recording, and using information about students' responses to an educational task. So, process of collecting data and to see the progress of the students, so teacher would have to know what the next step for teacher to do for students next, and then an ongoing process to ensure that the course or class objectives and goals are met. A process, not a product. A test is a form of assessment. So from Brown, a test is a form of assessment. It's a kind of assessment. And then the aim of assessment itself is primarily concerned with providing teachers and or students with feedback information. So assessment will give students and teacher a feedback. In language teaching, it is a local or global procedures through which one can appraise one or more aspects of language proficiency. And then assessment is transparent. So they will see clearly the assessment criteria have been predetermined from the beginning. There are different forms of assessment. So there are 4 different assessment. First one is formative, second one is summative assessment, and then the third one self-assessment, and then the fourth one peer assessment. Okay, next. These are the most common forms of assessment: continuous assessment, formative assessment, and then summative assessment. Let's see what is the continuous assessment. Continuous assessment refers to the activities required by students during the conduct of a course. So continuous assessment is done to see the activities of students during in the class, and it takes place within the normal teaching period. So it's just normal assessment, and it contributes to the final assessment. It can be used to the final exams for students. And then formative assessment. Formative assessment refers to observation which allow one to determine the degree to which students know or are able to perform a given task. Formative assessment is done by a teacher to observe facing a student's degree and see the students already understand what students already understand. So a teacher will be know what tasks they have to be given. And then summative assessment. This is usually used in the course. Summative assessment usually carried out at the conclusion of a unit or units of instruction, activity, or plan in order to assess acquired knowledge and skills at that particular point in time. So the purpose of it is giving a grade or making judgment to the students. Other form of assessment are self-assessment and peer assessment. Let's see. Self-assessment occurs when an appraisal instrument is self-administered for a specific purpose of providing performance feedback. So, self-assessment is used for ourselves. It designed to judge our self-work. We can diagnose the what we have to improve, but this is not the one that we use to know are we fail or are we pass. And then other less frequent but increasingly important forms, peer assessment. Peer assessment occurs when students judge one another's work. So peer assessment is used with each other or two. So the teacher will determine the 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 peer student, and the teacher will given reference criteria, and teacher will facilitate students and giving them safe environment to do peer assessment. And then, does assessment include testing? Yes, it does. That's already said by Brown, that assessment include testing. How do we test? There are many different testing, including achievement testing, communicative testing, competence testing, diagnostic testing, integrative testing, performance testing, progress testing, proficiency testing, and psychometric testing. But the most common of testing are achievement testing, progress testing, and proficiency testing. Let's see this. Achievement testing. Achievement testing used to determine whether or not students have mastered the course content and how they should proceed. So, achievement testing is for teacher determine if student already mastered how many far students already mastered, or how already they proceed the content that been given from the teacher. And then progress testing. It is used at various stages throughout a language course to determine learners' progress up to that point and to see what they have learned. So progress testing is used to know the stages students in and how far the students already understand about they have learned. And then proficiency testing. Proficiency testing is used to measure learners' general linguistic knowledge. So it's focusing on the linguistics. So proficiency testing are intended to use for students or people outside the formal educational system, that how far they already mastered the general language ability. It's like general linguistics, such as in the medicine, tourism, something like that. And the example for this, like IELTS, that they do the testing outside of the formal education. So that's all from me. I've been explaining about testing and assessment. I hope you can learn from me just explaining. I'm sorry if I have a mistake from what I just pronounced. I'm not really good at it. So yeah, I hope you can understand and enjoy my video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye and peace. I'm sorry, that was so awkward.